The wildcard curse is well and truly real in FPL. The wildcard in Game Week 6 was a disaster in the first week, though Game Week 30 wildcard was quite possibly even worse. Pretty much all the players we had in our team before the wildcard actually ended up returning, and all the ones we brought in ended up flopping completely, bar a few. It is worth noting that Alexander Isak was not feeling 100%, and that is why he got subbed off. Eddie Howe said that he was not feeling 100% with his movement, and he's not sure, and hopefully he will be okay. So it's not ideal there for Alexander Isak. For people who are thinking of captaining him in Game Week 31, he could potentially be a doubt for Game Week 31. Now, obviously, just keep hold of him for now, and we'll see in the press conferences going forward. But it's definitely something you need to be aware of with Alexander Isak, that he wasn't feeling 100%. That's why he got subbed off early, and we're not sure going forward for that game against Leicester. The triple up on Crystal Palace genuinely is unbelievable how this has taken place. I cannot believe what I've actually just witnessed in that game. If you're an FPL fan and you want all the latest FPL news and content, hit subscribe on this channel. Drop a like as well. This is going to be basically talking all through what's happened tonight in FPL Game Week 30 and overall how the week's gone for the wildcards, because it has been pretty much a disaster. It all kicked off all wrong on last night with Gabriel picking up an injury in 15 minutes. An absolute disaster. Things continue to get worse. For me, I didn't even wildcard Saka in. Saka goes and scores off the bench. I was only expecting him to play a few minutes off the bench. He did. Of course, Saka goes and bags and literally does more than what Cole Palmer's done in the last month in the space of 6 minutes. Then, of course, David Raya loses his clean sheet in the last minute with a goal from Munoz right at the end. Unbelievable scenes. An absolute disaster start to the week. And for me, I kept hold of Bruno Fernandes. I was one of the very few managers that actually wildcarded and kept hold of Bruno. And, of course, he got close a few times to get an assist or whatever, but not really anything too concrete and no returns from him. And then we go on to Wednesday night, where yet again it was another disaster. I was really thinking this has got to be a week where, I mean, on the Wednesday I was really thinking it's got to be a green arrow from here. Not much can really go wrong. We start off in the Crystal Palace game where we get Munoz blank and early substitution as well after 75 minutes, which is crazy. But obviously he did just play in the international duty. But 2 points against Southampton. Obviously Southampton go and score. Crystal Palace have been solid in defence for weeks on end now, and of course they go against the worst team in the Premier League, on course, well, still potentially on course to breaking the record points total in terms of how low you can actually get. Southampton now onto 10 points after Crystal Palace equalising right at the end. Daniel Munoz, no attacking threat whatsoever, no contributions going forward, and of course doesn't get his clean sheet. You've then got Ismail Assar in the midfield, who a 0.08 XGI in that game, so literally ineffective completely. His 2 game weeks before that, 1.81 XG, 2.07 XG in the game before that, and of course against Crystal Palace 0.08. Absolutely flops, and a guy who's been in such good form going into this week, and also scored in the FA Cup as well. Then you've got Mateta as well, who I brought in. Early substitution. We did expect him to kind of get subbed early, but I mean, I was at least expecting to get a few more minutes than 58. I mean, I was hoping to at least get the 2 points for Mateta. He gets subbed off early, so an absolute disaster. If you own Mateta, don't panic. He'll be fine. He'll probably be back on 90 minutes again when he's pretty much fully fit, which hopefully he will be for next week in terms of what's happened with his injury, and he's back into full fitness, as I say. Brighton up next for him. I just keep hold of him, but it is absolute pain there. Then, of course, the main one, Mo Salah as captain. First blank since Game Week 22. 3 points against Everton and very ineffective in that game. Only a 0.17 XGI for Mo Salah. So an absolute shocker right there. At least it didn't work out too badly with the forwards. Omar Marmoush scoring and getting all 3 bonus points. So a 9-pointer for Omar Marmoush right there, which we'll definitely take. And overall, he could have done a lot more. I mean, he had a 1.58 XG. So he could have maybe got another goal, but we'll take the 9-pointer for Omar Marmoush. And at 7.5 million provides unbelievable value, considering Erling Haaland is out for quite a while now. So Marmoush at that price tag and playing for Man City, you've got a good run of fixtures and doubling in Game Week 33 we expect. Marmoush is just an absolute essential at this point. He could even be people's captain going forward into that double game week in 33. Alexander Isak as well, bagging himself a goal and getting 2 bonus points. He also got substituted off early, but an 8-pointer for Isak, definitely take that. But a lot of people do own Isak. Definitely up for debate for captaincy in Game Week 31 with Alexander Isak playing against Leicester and then Mo Salah playing against Fulham as well. So it's definitely up for debate with that captaincy. My whole week now relies on Cole Palmer. Like, I mean, he's got Tottenham. He's the last game of the week. We're all watching Cole Palmer and hoping that he can at least match what Saka did. But the way he's been recently, honestly, I wouldn't put it past Cole Palmer to blind. But all my week depends on Cole Palmer because I've got a pretty big red arrow. Going onto the bench then, of course, we had bench points. Of course, we did. Jacob Murphy with an assist. Of course, assisted Alexander Isak. Absolute nightmare with having him on the bench. He didn't get any bonus points in the end. We'll talk about the other players who did get bonus points in a second. Then we had Ezri Concert, who went on to get 6 points and got a clean sheet against Brighton. I'm pretty sure Brighton scored, but the goal was got ruled out for VAR. I'm pretty sure Adingra scored. But then, of course, in the Newcastle versus Brentford game, guess who scores? Bryan Mbuemo. Pretty much who everybody has before the wildcard, or a lot of people own before the wildcard. And he goes and bags against Newcastle and picks up a bonus point and then gets himself an 8-pointer. Everybody got rid of him on wildcard because his fixtures are tougher and he doesn't have a double game week in 33. So, understandably, everyone gets rid of him. Of course, Mbuemo goes and bags a goal against Newcastle. And then it was assisted by joao wissa. So, joao wissa getting the assist and Mbuemo getting the goal. So, the two players in the old guard, you'd say, who a lot of people owned, ended up getting the returns. And, of course, we all wildcarded them out. Also, as well, Morgan Rogers coming in, who I own personally. A lot of people owned before. I would have played him if I didn't play my wildcard. Morgan Rogers goes in and gets 2 assists. And also, a note on Asensio as well. Asensio picking up all 3 bonus points, only on the pitch for 25 minutes, getting a goal and an assist in that time. Honestly, what a player he is. He's genuinely been unbelievable for Aston Villa. So, definitely wants to keep an eye on there. Morgan Rogers and Asensio for that double game week 33. 2 players we definitely need to be watching. And Aston Villa actually keeping a clean sheet against Brighton as well, with Martinez in goal and Konsa getting points as well. So Aston Villa assets could be looking very good going forward. And it really is a huge red arrow for me from this week so far. I'm down to 50k from 37k. It's an absolute disaster wildcard. As I said, I did this in game week 6 and had a massive red arrow. I'm hoping it can just work out in the long run like it did for my last wildcard. I ended up going up quite a lot after that week. Hopefully this can be the same because I'm absolutely fuming at that. A rank change of minus 35%. That is absolutely catastrophic right now. Let's have a look at the transfer plans and initial thoughts going into next week. So next week I have still got obviously that Gabriel injury, which I discussed in the last video. I think I'm going to have to keep hold of Gabriel, and I'm probably just going to have to play Dan Burn against Leicester, which isn't the end of the world. And I'll play Guardiola against United. I don't really want to be making transfers after 1 week after the wildcard. It will be a bit of a disaster to do that. If I was to get rid of Gabriel, I'd be bringing in Saliba for Gabriel. But overall, I just can't be making any transfers. And the fixtures this week defensively aren't the best. Raya against Everton away is a tough game. Guardiola against United isn't ideal. But Dan Burn's got a good fixture against Leicester, to be fair. Munoz then against Brighton. I mean, Munoz is good going forward. The attackers, we've got Mateta, Marmoush and Isak. I'm quite happy to own all 3 of them going into it. The midfields, where I've got a bit of a debate. I've got Jacob Murphy, who's playing against Leicester, of course. It's a decent fixture. Leicester are absolutely terrible. Again, losing again tonight. And I think it's definitely a debate to bring in Jacob Murphy. But I don't really know who I'd bring him in for, because I'm not going to be getting rid of him at any of them strikers. I would want to be playing Bruno because he's on penalties. Can't really not be playing Saar, Palmer, Salah. Like, I don't really know who I'd actually bring. I don't know who I'd actually bring in for Jacob Murphy, or who I'd actually bench for Jacob Murphy, because he's got a good fixture, but then the other players are just so good as well this week, I think. So I just don't really know what to be doing in terms of that. Right now, I'm just probably going to have to leave Jacob Murphy on the bench, unfortunately. Bring Dan Burn into the starting 11. And that'll be the team sorted for next week. Anyway, that'll about do for the video. If you enjoyed it, drop a like down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.